This week in U.S. immigration news, we are going to cover expedited processing hub in Qatar, work permit validity expanded, Biden lifts most of its visa sanctions on Laos, house arrest for immigrants as an alternative to detention, U.S. hospitals seek foreign nurses amid visa windfall, and U.S. maintains Title 42. The Biden administration is developing a system in Qatar to speed up the processing of at-risk Afghans overseas that are seeking permanent legal status in the U.S. and a resettlement destination. The U.S. has already received and resettled tens of thousands of Afghans through a temporary humanitarian process known as parole. Humanitarian parole leaves the Afghan evacuees in a legal limbo unless they qualify for asylum or visas. Through the new program, the U.S. is hoping to ensure future Afghan arrivals come to the country after they finish the refugee or special immigrant visas process. The expedited program will be based in Camp as Salia, a U.S. Army base in Qatar. Eligible evacuees will be interviewed by U.S. officials, given medical checks and security screenings. USCIS has announced that refugees and those granted asylum may now renew their work permits in 2-year increments rather than having to renew annually. This update will affect foreign citizens who have been admitted as refugees or granted asylum. It will also affect those who have self-petitioned for green cards under a program for domestic abuse survivors, as well as migrants who fled persecution and have been provided deportation relief. The update will also permit some immigrants with temporary deportation protections to have work permits remaining valid until their protections expire. USCIS made this update to reduce the burden on the agency and the public. Overall, it will reduce processing times and help the agency to address the backlog. The Biden administration announced on Monday that it has lifted most of its visa sanctions on Laos. This development ends a Trump-era immigration ban that halted the issuance of any travel or immigrant visas to people in Laos. More than 30 advocacy groups and several members of Congress pushed to lift the sanctions. The sanctions under the Trump administration were seen as a retaliatory measure used to pressure Laos into accepting more deportees. Lifting the sanction could reunite about 2,000 families. The Biden administration wrote in a memo that most citizens from Laos who have applied, or will apply, for travel or immigrant visas will no longer be subjected to the ban.
If you are new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe to stay in the loop. We offer free 15-minute consultations if your case is qualified, so we can point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for the secret code later in the show.
Within the coming weeks, the Biden administration is launching a 120-day pilot program in Houston and Baltimore that will place migrants under house arrest as an alternative to immigration detention. The program will have 100 to 200 single adults enrolled in each location. The so-called home curfew policy will cost $6 to $8 per day for each enrollee, whereas the immigration detention costs $142 a day. The program is intended to help control the expected record highs this year of arrests at the U.S.-Mexico border. The enrollees will be expected to remain home from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m., with exceptions for job schedules or special circumstances. Since the pandemic, American hospitals have been facing a shortage of nurses, leading many hospitals looking abroad for healthcare workers. The U.S. has an unusually high number of green cards available this year for foreign professionals, including nurses. The burnout from working during the pandemic has led many U.S. nurses to retire or leave their jobs. The high number of COVID-19 cases has also placed tremendous pressure on the healthcare system. USCIS said it would quicken the renewal of work permits for healthcare workers, which could help keep some foreign citizens in the U.S. on the job. Last year, the State Department told consulates to prioritize applications for workers at facilities that respond to the pandemic. The Biden administration decided to maintain the pandemic-era order implemented by the Trump administration, known as Title 42. The policy authorizes the rapid deportation of migrants from the U.S.-Mexico border. In August 2021, the latest order authorizing the border expulsions was signed by the CDC Director Rochelle Walensky and instructed public health officials to evaluate the need for the policy every 60 days. On Thursday, a CDC spokesperson announced that the agency will continue invoking Title 42 after a third 60-day assessment.
Friends, show us some love and smash the like button. If you have an immigration problem or need a second opinion because you cannot get a hold of your own lawyer, schedule a meeting with our team. Share information with our cares team and they will help you get scheduled with our legal team. And here's the secret code to unlock the free 15 minutes.